Hey guys, this is Colin from Rennline. Today I'm going to be walking you through the install of this EX20, the titanium valved exhaust for this 991.2. First step is to pop your spoiler and your rear deck lid. You're going to want to take off these three valence pieces. This one, the center one, and the side one are super easy. Center one comes out first. Just quick snaps out on these retaining posts on rubber grommets. The only tricky one is this one. Just undo your oil cap and your expansion reservoir. Set those off to the side and it just pops right out. Just throw those caps back on. The other side's the same, just pop it out and set it off to the side for now. Next step is removing the taillights. That's just held in by two T20 bolts. Once you get this out, all you got to do is unplug the taillight from the harness. Now it's time to take the wheels off so we can get into the wheel liners and get the bumper off. Now that we've got the wheels off, time to rip out this liner. It's super simple. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 T25 screws holding it in. Now we're going to take off these inner wheel well bolts holding the rear bumper on. There's two. There's one that's exposed now that we took that cover off, and then you'll have to pull back this upper cover and get to that second one. This part will probably differ a little bit from your car unless you have our dual exit 991.2 diffuser. But it's along the same concept. There's two bolts here holding on the rear blades that also hold on the rear bumper. And then we have a center screw over there and then two more on the other side. Just, in our case, they are Phillips heads, but pull them out and just we're gonna set the diffuser off to the side. So after you removed your taillights, you'll see these two T30s on each side. The last things holding your bumper on are these 4 T25 screws. Pop these out, and then you can remove your bumper. Before you can pull the bumper off, you just got to disconnect the brake light and license plate light plugs. It's this one on this side. There's another brake light plug on this side. After unplugging, the bumper's free to remove. Now that we've got access to everything underneath the bumper, first step, pop these intake scoops out. We're gonna pull off the intercoolers. To get that kick started, we're just gonna pull off this bracket right here that's hiding a lot of the mounting screws. It's again, T25s, but pull this off and you'll get access to 1, 2, 10 mil nuts. There's two on the inside of the wheel well, and then one more 10 mil hiding back in here. Once you get these screws out, we're gonna disconnect from the compressor side of the turbos. There's just two hose clamps holding the intercoolers on, and then again, back up here, there's two more hose clamps that we're gonna be pulling out, and then this whole module can pop out real easy. Super simple, and then that just lets us get to our cats way easier. The last step before you can pull it off is you're gonna wanna disconnect these vacuum lines. Now you can pull this whole intercooler off. Once we get the intercooler off, I just like to stick a couple rags down the inlet and exit of my compressor just to make sure I don't get any debris in there while I'm fiddling around with all the heat shielding and getting the cats off the car. Now we're just gonna do the same thing on the passenger side of the vehicle. Now that we've got the intercoolers off, we can just go ahead and bend this heat shielding up and out of the way. This is a part that's not really necessary to do, but I find it's easier to get this cat shield off and to get access to the cat and the O2 sensors, which you're gonna need to disconnect later. Next, we gotta get this heat shielding off the cat, there are 4 T30 screws in here. So 1, 2, 1 on the top, and then there's 1 hidden way in the back. After we get that piece of shielding off, we got to disconnect the pre and post cat O2 sensors. Once you get this unplugged, you're going to start pulling it through. There are going to be some body clips that you're going to have to fight with a little, but if you just go up and behind the cat, it's kind of a straight shot through with those body clips. So just give it a little bit of a fight and you should be able to pull it straight on through. So you're gonna need to do this to both sides. It's the exact same on the other side. It's got these body clips. Plugs are in the exact same spot, same color. Super straightforward. Pull them through and then we can start getting this cat off. Now it's time to get started on the fun part. We're gonna undo these band clamps holding the rear muffler in place. I like to support the exhaust just so I'm not torquing out the cat bolts, but rip them out and set them off to the side for now, because we will be reusing these on the titanium exhaust. Next, we're gonna remove the studs on the cat. The last thing before we can kind of draw our full exhaust is we gotta take off these vacuum lines. Just disconnect it and set it off to the side. We're gonna be reusing that. Everything's disconnected. Just give a double check that all your wires are disconnected, all your clamps are undone, all your bolts and studs are loose. We can now drop this out, pull it towards the rear of the car. You're gonna interfere a little bit with this heat shielding. It's braced into the frame. You can take these T30 screws off or T25 screws off to give yourself a little bit more deflection. I find you don't really need to do it, but just pull the exhaust back and give it a little bit of a wiggle and the whole thing drops out. Now that we've got this out on the ground, we're gonna remove all the clamps holding the cats to the muffler. There's 2 on each side, super easy, just knock them out. Again, with PB Blaster and some heat if you live in a salt state, and then we can go ahead and throw the cats on our EX20. You're gonna need to pull all these coupling flanges off the old exhaust. We're gonna reuse them. Now that we've got the cats off that old exhaust, we're gonna throw them on this on the ground, put them back up in the car, and put the car back together. Now this is all put back together. Grab yourself a friend to install it back up in the car. Thanks to Tim, we got this up here super easy. So next step, if you had to replace some of the studs, insert that new hardware and start rebolting the cat back onto the turbine. We can reinstall these band clamps around the back mounting plate behind the muffler. Kind of just the last step is you want to make sure that you're reinstalling your vacuum lines or replumbing your vacuum lines to the new exhaust. That wraps up the EX20 install on our 991.2 Carrera S. If you like this part and want to see more like it, check us out at Rennline.com.